Today I'm showing my Millstone fountain garden. I'm standing right outside the conservatory. Actually, I'm standing on a rock in the dry creek bed, which is the latest project Mike and I have started. With the excessive amount and record-breaking rain we've had over the last year and a half, we started having some serious water issues in our backyard. Our backyard is one continuous slope, and we were having erosion and leaks into parts of the basement. So I saw this idea on Pinterest, and anyway, it's you use big flat rock and you line this big ditch with the flat rock as accents and filling in with the round river rock. But the length is about 50 feet down towards that big boulder at the end before it drops off to an even bigger slope that heads down to the pond. So hopefully we can get this done this year. I'm really tired of mud. There's been mud back here with various projects over the last 4 years. So we worked on Sunday getting the parts for this Millstone fountain out of winter storage and putting it all back together. And after that, this entire area had been covered with this horrible weed called Japanese stiltgrass. I spent hours and hours hoeing it all up, loading it into big 30-gallon trash barrels, and then hauling those trash barrels and dumping it out in a burn pile area. I'll start off with this Japanese snowbell tree. I got this back in 2013 at Ace Hardware, and it barely fit in my car, but I managed somehow. And when I got home, I was very surprised when Suzanne said that she wanted to dig the hole to plant it. Mike's brother Lowell and his wife Suzanne have been living here for several years, and she's not much of a gardener at all, but she dug this hole, and I give her credit. It was clay and very hard digging, but she said it wasn't going to defeat her, and she kept at it until the hole was dug, enough to accommodate the root ball. So now I think of this tree as Suzanne's tree, and over the years it has really grown. I'd say probably 25, maybe even 30 feet tall, and it gets the prettiest blossoms in about a month. Very dainty bell shapes. I guess that's why they call it a snowbell tree. Get a little bit unsteady here as I walk across the river rock. Not much planted in this garden area at all. Like I said, it's kind of been neglected for about 3 years, and before then I hadn't had much in here anyway. But I'll show the few plants. This is a crepe scantia spiderwort. It's something that I use a lot throughout my garden. It's a thug in so many places. People don't want it, so it's another one that gets passed around quite a bit. But it does well here, and I have so much room. It's become a filler plant throughout my woodlands, and when the clumps get too big, I just dig them and divide them and move them about. This is a little clump of Asarum ground cover given to me by Rick, another Mid-Atlantic friend. It hasn't been spreading at all, but I wanted to go around the base of this Japanese snowbell tree. And I have so much out front in the front steps bed, I'll probably dig some from there and add in here to help it along. This looks like a weed, but it's not. It's a carex. And it was given to me by Jan, another Mid-Atlantic garden friend. She has it in huge established clumps, this dark green, along with this chartreuse one back there. She has it behind a stone retaining wall. It makes quite the garden feature in her garden. It's very pretty. Have this other stone turtled spitting fountain. Uses the same reservoir basin as the Millstone bubbler. I got this on a road trip to visit Ruby before she passed away, and we had so much fun at this little nursery where I found this. Always reminds me of her, and love having things in my garden from other people and hold special memories when they're no longer with us. This little turtle with it came from Big Lots. I love when I find bargains that I know are going to look good in my garden. I think it was only $2. So that kind of thing just tickles me to no end. On the back side now, this is a hosta, pass along from Rick. And this is a recent acquisition when Jill and I went to Lancaster. It is an Asian mayapple called Spotty Dotty. It had been on my wish list for many years. Never did see it anywhere, ever. And finally saw it at this nursery in Lancaster, so I scooped it up. It was the last one they had. I was thrilled to find it. And then this is an Egyptian papyrus, another thing that Jill and I got in Lancaster. It likes wet conditions, actually likes to be submerged in water as long as the crown doesn't get covered. So, gonna do that. And Bonnie's bird bath, she'll be taking that with her to the cottage when she's ready to move in. An azalea called Tomboy. One of the things I've been doing this year is putting a lot of compost around the base and adding holly tone fertilizer. I just did this morning, so I still need to put mulch down. This is my bird bath, so it will be staying. One of the things with all these garden accents is they sink into the ground, so one by one I'm trying to stabilize them more. So yesterday I took bucket loads of stone dust, put it underneath, then set a flagstone paver on top, so hopefully it'll keep this level and I'll have to no longer fuss with it every time it goes cockeyed. Another pass-along plant, this one is from Bonnie's boss, who is an avid gardener. It's called Naked Lady. I'm not sure what the Latin name is, but it's a cool plant. It gets all of this foliage from bulbs. You know, it's a bulb. It gets all this foliage in the spring, and then all the foliage dies back, and sometime in late summer up shoots this thin stalk with little lilies on the top, pink, and they're called Naked Ladies. Funny story, in this little town west of here, very conservative town, there was a headline in their local paper that said, "Naked ladies spotted all over Middleburg." Got quite the reaction from the townspeople, but all in good fun. She gave me about 6 bulbs, so I've got them planted throughout here in this Millstone Fountain Garden area, and they're doing really well. Okay, this is columbine called Double Pleat Blackberry. I get that up in Lancaster also. I've been getting it probably for the last 3 years, get 3 or 5 plants each time I go. Some of them come back, some of them just die out. They're cheap enough, so I keep buying more, hoping to establish a really good clump here. And they haven't started self-seeding yet either, but we'll see. Got these 2 trellises side by side, one's taller than the other. I grow clematis on them. I see the one on the left has emerged, but the one on the right, there's no sign of it yet. So I don't know if it made it or not. I did find one in Lancaster that was marketed for doing well in deep shade, so if this really is a goner, I'll plant that one there in its stead. A couple other things are these leaf-shaped stepping stones. I got those at Costco with a gift card my mother-in-law had given me for my retirement 2 years ago. I like buying things for my gardens with gift cards. It just gives me something to physically remind me of the person who gave it to me. There's my purple chairs. I found those at Lowe's. My gardens are what you call very understated. Not much color. Everything, a lot of green, foliage, texture. The flowers that I do have are very light colored pastels and purples and blues and pinks and whites. So I thought my gardens needed a pop of something, and this purple is what I chose. Not easy to find things in this color, believe it or not, but when I do, I get it, and I find spots in my garden to put it, and hopefully at some point there'll be a cohesive factor of this pop of purple throughout every garden area I've got. This show is the last. This is red buds. Again, pass along from Mid-Atlantic friends, one from Sally, one from Susan. And when I got them, they were only about 6 inches, maybe a foot tall. And they have really grown over the last couple of years. And I'm hoping, as the years go on, they'll just get more and more spectacular here behind the Millstone fountain area. Redbuds are probably my favorite of all the spring blooming Mid-Atlantic trees. I love the color of the leaves. I like the shape. I like the purple blossoms before everything leaves out. Such a pretty sight along all the highways in Virginia. So I'm glad to have some here. And again, pass along plants are always special. Just show a few more things before I end the video. This is another azalea. Actually, it's a rhododendron. It's a dwarf one called Gumpo, or Gampao, or something like that. And a dwarf butterfly bush. A clump of plants that I dug up to save from the backhoe when Mike was digging out the dry creek bed. I'll have to get those planted. But yeah, a lot of work in this area over the last couple days, just getting rid of all that stilt grass and putting all this mulch down. And that's it.